Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FPL Yusuf and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go into our final team selection around game week 26. We're going to look at the team that I've got, the transfers that I've made, but also some key questions which might help some of you guys and your teams surrounding big players, injuries, and any other news as well. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so first up, let's talk about Kevin De Bruyne. Should you keep him? Should you sell him? Do we even think he's going to play this week? So Pep Guardiola said that he should be travelling with the Manchester City squad this week. I think if you've got him, I think he's a hold. I think you just keep him for one more week. Going forward, obviously Man City, Champions League is starting to come back up now. They'll probably progress through to the next round and they'll probably go quite deep into the tournament. I think at that stage, questions have to be asked whether or not Kevin De Bruyne is a hold long term. Also, City's fixtures coming up are a little bit, they're not easy, should we say. So they play Liverpool, I think, in game week 28. There's a high chance they blank in 29. So there's a reasonable chance that you could sort of shift Kevin De Bruyne out. You know, he's a lot of money. I think there are a lot of other choices at the moment, you know, whether it be Salah or you drop him down to like a Saka and Odegaard, someone like that. So I think there is other options to go with other than keeping KDB. As opposed to just this week in particular, I think you hold him for one more week. I think you see if he starts against Bournemouth. If he's on the bench, I think it's pretty much he has to go. Even if he plays, I don't see it being 90 minutes. If he's just come back off an injury, I don't think Pep's going to want to rush him. As I said, Manchester City will be having their eyes on winning the Champions League this year, so I think they'll probably take precautions around Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously, you know, his age, he's a year older than he was. Injuries are a lot harder to recover. Obviously, the older he gets, so I think they'll probably be more inclined to want to just keep him wrapped up for the games that they need him. And Bournemouth away, it's a fixture that you should imagine City would be able to get through without him. Nevertheless, he may still be on the bench. He might start, but I think if you've got him, I think this week he's just a hold. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the Hwang versus Neto debate. Now, Wolves have got a prime fixture this week against Sheffield United at home. Wolves usually score goals in their games as well, so that gives a big opportunity for both Pedro Neto and Hwang to get points. The question is, which one do we bring in? Now, as you can see, or as you'll see in a minute, I've got both of them in my team. So I wildcarded a couple of weeks ago. I brought Pedro Neto in, and then one of my free transfers this week was to bring Hwang in. Now, if we look at them, and we're going to compare them both player for player, I think one has more attacking threat, which is Hwang, and then one has more assist threat, which is Pedro Neto. So I think if you only had to pick one, I think Hwang is the right option. He's probably going to be playing up front because Cunha's out injured. There's a good chance he's on penalties. I don't think we know for definite just because of Sarabia. The thing with Sarabia is he very rarely plays 90 minutes. So at some point in the game, Hwang will be on the pitch by himself without Sarabia. So that will probably put him as the first choice penalty taker. Pedro Neto, on the other hand, has got a very good assist record. And he seems to return every week with an assist. He's on set pieces. Very dangerous little player. So it really is close between them. Both of them are near enough identical in price. Both of them are nearly identical in ownership as well. So there's really nothing separating them. I think if you had to pick one, I would personally go for Hwang over Neto, but solely for the fact that he probably has penalties and he's got more threat of scoring. Okay, so now the last thing we're going to talk about as a key question is about Rasmus Højlund. Now, it came out yesterday in Erik ten Hag's press conference that he's going to be out for about 2 to 3 weeks, which is a shame for some people because I know a lot of people moved early on him to try and beat the price rise. And this is just once again a reminder, you know, I've done it myself this season where just hold firm. Even if they go up by the 0.1, the 0.2, it's probably worth just waiting out the week because now a lot of people, that's a dud transfer. They're either going to have to transfer him back out for a minus or just leave him on the bench. But I think a lot of people aren't in the situation to leave players on the bench this week as most people are going to have blanks. So yeah, with Højlund, I think if you haven't bought him, don't go there. Obviously, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. So wait and see what happens. I mean, to be honest with you, I think you kind of want to wait for next week to happen anyway, just to see whether Man United play in 29 or not. Because if Højlund and Manchester United don't play in 29, I don't think it's someone you want to be looking at despite his form. So yeah, with Rasmus Højlund, if you haven't made your free transfers as of yet, stay away, wait and see when he comes back, and also wait for next week to see what happens with Man United in the FA Cup, as well as the other teams as well. Okay, so as you can see on screen, this is my team that I'm lining up with for this game week. One for David Raya and Gabriel as a double Arsenal double up in defence. Not really much choice there because obviously we've got players missing this week, so we kind of just had to put out whatever team we could. Pau Torres, Ben Mee, obviously tripled up on Aston Villa this week, as you can see, doubled up on Brentford, doubled up on Arsenal. But the one thing with my team this week is that I've only got about 5 or 6 different teams playing. So they all play for the same teams. So as you can see, I've got the double up in midfield for Wolves for Hwang and Neto. I am going with Hwang as a differential captain this week. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to go for Erling Haaland, which if I was advising you, non-biased, I would say go for Haaland as well. He's a safe choice. Manchester City, they are good. They make chances, and I know he hasn't had his shooting boots on recently, but I think at some point it's going to come good for him. So yeah, if you haven't or you're struggling to pick a captain, the only reason why I've gone for Hwang is solely just to try and make up ground because I'm so far behind. So I have to try something different. But yeah, for you guys, if you are looking for a captaincy, I would suggest Erling Haaland. I've got Douglas Luiz in the midfield. He's an interesting one. The only reason why he came into my team on the wild card was solely to prepare for game week 29. Now, the only thing I haven't got in my midfield is an Arsenal midfielder, and I don't feel very easy about not having one of Saka or Odegaard, especially because we're playing Newcastle this week. Newcastle defence, I spoke about it in my game week 26 wildcard draft. They're not the greatest, and there is a lot of room for goals to be scored in that game. So that is a little bit of fear at the moment that I haven't got an Arsenal midfielder, and Arsenal do have Sheffield United next week. So I think that will be one of my transfers for next week as well. And then, so just to top it off up front, we've gone for Haaland, Watkins, and Toney. Now, I said in my game week 26 wildcard draft that Toney over Watkins every day of the week. One, because Toney's on penalties. Two, he's a bonus points magnet. Fixture-wise, Watkins has got him just slightly. I don't think Brentford's are terrible. They're not amazing, but they're not terrible. Aston Villa obviously have better fixtures, but I think Toney's a better player. The reason why I've gone for Ollie Watkins was my sole transfer was going to be Jota out to Hwang this week and Darwin to Solanke. And I've left the Solanke transfer alone. Now, obviously, they're playing Man City this week, but as I said in game week 26, don't be put off by that fixture because Solanke definitely can still return in that. The only reason why I didn't bring him this week is because, as I said earlier in my video, I'm so far behind, I'm going to try something different. So I've gone for Watkins, mainly, one, because he's got a good fixture this week, but mainly because he's a guaranteed in 29. So that's one less headache I have to worry about. But two, when I get Solanke, in which they play Burnley next week in 27, and obviously they have a double in 28. So by 28, he will definitely be in my team. The player that will believe in my team will be Erling Haaland. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and I won't talk too much about it in this video because that will come later, maybe next week or the week after. But the reason why I'm going to look to get Haaland out, not so much next week because they play Man United at home, and Haaland has a very good record against United. It's more so they play Liverpool in 28. There's a high chance they blank in 29. Brighton away in 30, which is it's an okay fixture, and then they play Arsenal in 31. So they have Liverpool, Arsenal, and a blank in 3 out of those 4 fixtures. So if there's any time I'm going to go without Haaland, it probably is that week. But also that money that I save from Haaland will allow me to go and get Mo Salah, which is someone that I'm looking at. Obviously, at some point I'm going to have both of them, but we're going to cross that bridge when we get there a bit later on. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. This is a little bit of a short video. It's just kind of like a little rundown of how my team's lining up for game week 26, kind of the transfers that I made. So once again, it is Jota and Darwin have come out, and Hwang and Ollie Watkins have come in. No minuses this week, just solely free transfers. Captaincy obviously going to stay on Hwang as well. So fingers crossed this is a good week. But like I said, thank you so much for watching once again. If you have enjoyed the video, please drop it a thumbs up and also subscribe down below. And I will probably be back either Monday or Tuesday of next week with a new transfer target video ready for game week 27. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a great game week. I'll see you next time.